Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond Local, episode 49. We're one episode away from a pretty awesome milestone. Normally the show is about tips and tricks and digital know-how, but as you know from tuning in each and every week, we're looking at our employees so that you can get to know LSEO. So we're going to get into that once again. With me, as always, the yin to my yang, Steve Blackburn. Welcome, Steve.
Pleasure to be here as always, Jeff.
All right. And as usual, Steve likes to come with a guest. And who'd you bring today, Steve?
Well, today I brought one of the newer members of our team. This is a guy who I couldn't be happier that we hired. So this is Tucker Hottis.
All right. Welcome, Tucker.
Well, hello. Great to be here.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Now, spoiler alert, but for any of our current customers, they might already know a little bit about Tucker. So, Tucker, what do you do here?
So, Jeff, I am the client services manager for LSEO. I take our accounts and I work with our clients to make sure that we're fulfilling everything, every need, every upcoming request, all of the things that we do every day for our client. We work with the teams to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can.
Awesome. So, if you know Tucker already, hit the like button.
So now that you've come to us, can you give us a little bit of your background? You know, what did you do before LSEO? You know, maybe where you went to college, what you majored in. You know, are you from the area?
Sure thing. So I grew up in northern New Jersey, and I've been an internet nerd since before the internet was really a thing. My 8th grade science fair project was a website for our elementary school back in like 1997 or whatever it was. So, I've been working in the industry for a number of years. I came to Pennsylvania. I went to Lehigh University. I was a political science and journalism and communications major with a theater minor.
Ooh, we're going to dive into that.
But from there, I moved on into traditional media, worked in a couple of different media companies for websites and doing online media, and then have worked in multiple different agencies and touched just about every aspect of digital marketing that exists.
I just want to know when you started making left-hand turns.
Geez, I guess it would have been 2001 when I came out of Jersey and went to college.
Nice. Okay. Great.
Jersey, you don't pump your own gas either, right?
No, but I was always the one pumping the gas on family road trips because Mom would say, "Hey, 10 years old, we're going on, we're driving out of state on a road trip. Somebody's got to pump the gas," and she didn't want to get out of the seat.
Tell us more about this, because I'm thinking the Griswold. So tell us, where were you going?
We used to travel up and down I-95 just about every year. I have family down in southern Georgia, so I'm very familiar with driving straight down. We also used to go to Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, so 81 has been a very, very long commute for me for a very long part of my life.
All right, perfect.
Now you get to commute it every day.
That's right. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you said that you went to school. I'm sorry, it was
Lehigh University down in Bethlehem.
Okay. Perfect. And you majored in theater and what?
Journalism and communications and political science. And theater minor.
So what does that mean? Like, were you like when you major in theater? Is that like the boom guy, or you're acting? Or
my minor was just strictly focused on acting and writing. And it was.
What kind of roles?
Let's see. I've played a lot of old men. So even as a young man, I was putting on old man makeup and being an old man.
All right.
I was in a part of Inherit the Wind in a couple of different roles, which, fun fact, I also saw on Broadway with Brian Dennehy and Christopher Plummer, which was quite an experience.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite role to play?
Favorite role to play...
Client services manager.
This one is so. Here's all right. This is a fun one, and maybe and this is a shout out to my friend Jill Harrison, who's a director in Philadelphia currently. She put me in role where I had to be in my underwear. I'm blanking on the name of the play. When the Inspector Calls, I believe. I can't remember, but yeah, I had to burst out of a room as a drugged police officer who had been stripped naked of his uniform and perform on stage like that. So that was interesting. I wouldn't say it was my favorite role, but it was definitely the most unique.
Isn't that backwards too? Don't they, during like public speaking and stuff like that, they say pretend the audience is in their underwear?
Yeah.
Instead, you were in your underwear. Well, well done.
The audience was comfortable then.
Yeah.
So that's it. I guess for any of our clients out there who want to really put me on the spot, then that's
there you go. That's
what
good.
you think of.
Yeah.
Remember the time you were in your underwear?
Yeah, Marky Mark himself.
Right. Well, how about jobs? Like where else have you worked? Anything interesting, like something out of the norm?
I spent a lot of time with Time Shamrock. I was the director, the technology development manager there. So I've worked with multiple news organizations throughout our region. Entertainment weeklies all across the United States, and all of the properties there. So I spent a lot of time just learning about how people consume media and how advertisers can connect with their clients.
Cool. So, I mean, you've got a lot of hidden talents that I didn't know you were an actor. What led you to LSEO? I mean, you applied, we interviewed you, you got hired, but I mean, you could have went anywhere with the plethora of skills you have and the ability and willingness to prance around in your underwear. But what led you here?
I'm going to regret telling you that story. But
Probably.
Yeah, so I had been looking to kind of change. For a while I was doing software development as a primary focus, and it just wasn't, it just was not my day-to-day thing. So I wanted to get back into the industry and touch all of these different parts of the things that we do for our clients every day. I knew LSEO was kind of on the up and coming. I've been following Chris Jones for years with all of his SEO experience. I've seen him speak at conferences. I worked with him in my newspaper days with Refer Local, another business that he's involved with. So the opportunity arose, and I said, you know what? It's time for a shift. Let me see how I can. I don't want to just work for one company anymore. I want to help all of the clients. I want to see every industry. I've always loved learning more about the things that other people do. For some of our clients, I have no idea what their business is, and then I learn, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean that was always the fun part for me as well.
Is there anyone that you learned about since being here that piqued your interest?
Well, my partner Melissa and I recently purchased our home in Scranton, and so we're looking at doing home improvements and just getting stuff out of the house from the old landlord and all of that. And one of our clients is Junkin' Monkeys, Dustin. I hope you're watching.
I guess we won't beep that one out.
And I told him, I told him I'm going to be calling him after hours because we need a bunch of stuff pulled out of our basement. So it's just fascinating to learn about different businesses and the way that the business cycle works. He said, we're getting too much business at the end of the month. We need to rebalance our ad strategy. And I said, well, that's great. Too much business is a good problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, problem nonetheless, though, right?
Right.
I mean, so, all right, well, cool. So let me ask you this: you've been here. Well, when was your start date?
I want to say April 12th, so a couple months now.
Wasn't that like the day the Titanic went down too?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
I'd have to rewatch the movie.
I was playing the violin.
Might be. I might be right there. So, all right. So you've been here a couple of months. So what I would like to know, or more importantly, what the people want to know, because Tucker, I don't know if you know this, but this is a show of the people, not the people.
Right.
Jeff and I are just here along for the ride. We're here to navigate the ship. I often send it in the wrong direction, and Jeff reels me in. But what's your favorite thing about working here at LSEO so far?
I think the first day I walked in the door, it was like this kind of crazy environment. We've got people who are just sitting on a couch with a laptop, and very, very much like it felt like walking into a tech company, like a startup tech company, not an office. Like there's no cubicles, there's none of this stoic kind of environment that you're used to in a lot of offices. But the next thing that hit me was just how much talent is around us. I'm working with team members who I am just in awe of how quickly they can turn something around. And, like I said, I've touched a lot of parts of this business over the years. So to be able to see somebody who I know right off the bat is just going to be able to get me the answer that I need for a client. Somebody asks me a question, I can turn right back around and get that answer. It's amazing.
Right on.
Awesome. I'm going to use this as a shameless plug real quick because you mentioned The Office. And if you ever want to see The Office, we are actually doing a workshop June 30th. For local businesses, come on down, learn a little bit about digital marketing from our VP of Search, Kyle Cozy. There's ads everywhere. Just come on down. We'll show you the upstairs. We'll show you what we're talking about. It'd be great to have you. So, sorry. Now back to the regularly scheduled program.
We're not done here. Tell them what it's about.
Promo.
It's the 8 key things you need to learn about local SEO to help you grow your business online.
All right, perfect. I mean, if we're going to plug it, do it the right way.
All right, cool. So, all right, we got your favorite thing. What would you add to The Office if you could add one thing?
All right, and this is going to be a shout out back to Jade's appearance on this podcast. Is we need more plants. I'm a plant guy, and I've been trying to slowly bring more greenery into the office, and so I think we've had a little discussions on the side in the Slack channel. It's #plants if you haven't joined it, but
I haven't. Steve joined it and then quit because he thought it was something else.
No comment. So wait a minute. I want to hear more about this horticulture. So, big word there.
Nice.
Right?
50-cent word right there.
Probably 33, but so tell us more about it. Go into this. So you're a plant guy. How does one become a plant guy?
Well, Steve, it usually involves light, water, dirt, and a plant.
Don't get smart with me, boy, because I know about hydroponics, and you don't have to have dirt.
Oh, all right.
So,
I didn't realize this was going to go into. We were going to get deep into that.
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
All right.
So, tell us how you got started in the plant world.
I've always liked gardening and growing vegetables and things like that, and my partner Melissa is very, very much into plants, and she very rapidly filled our house from wall to wall with every piece of space that you could have a plant in. And it just what's really cool is you waking up in the morning and just having some sunlight and some plants, and it's very uplifting, and it gives a very just very back to nature kind of thing. I'm an outdoorsy kind of person in my spare time, which you don't give me a lot of, but that's all right.
Work smarter, not harder.
So yeah, it's just I just like being around some greenery, and it's just interesting. It's nice, and it gives you a chance to check yourself as well. If the plants aren't looking happy, then you're not spending the time on the plants.
So were you a plant guy before your partner, or?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've built. I had a raised bed in my garden. I actually, from my first house in Scranton, picked up all of the raised bed and dirt that I had built on my first apartment and moved it to the new place.
See, I knew this wasn't a Jersey thing.
So in Jade's episode, she mentioned how she shakes her plants. Do you shake your plants?
I don't get too physical with my plants.
Okay.
I mean,
do you sing to them?
No. I'll speak to them. You know, I mean, I saw a great meme that was like, like my girlfriend asked me to talk to her plants, and he's like, "You've got nice leaves and stuff."
I believe this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, just water, light, misting. You know.
So, are they like what kind of plants are they? Are they ferns? Are they chia pets? I mean, do you got bonsai? Like the people want to.
As a matter of fact, I
know.
do have two bonsai. I have a ficus and a Barbados cherry. From right down the street at Midway Gardening.
Just dropping names.
Yeah,
like
man.
that.
And they're not even a client. They're
Right.
just a place
Not
I
yet.
like, you know. Hey, Midway. But yeah, it's I've got some bonsai. We've got here in the office. I have a cane tree surrounded by a pothos. And we have a shingle plant that is fresh to the office, which is a very interesting feature. And we look to be bringing some more in. Oh, I have some aloe in the office as well.
If you ever get burned.
I was going to say, I finally know what one he's talking about.
Right, the
You know,
aloe
like
one. Bonsai.
well, I know that one, but the shingle plant, and I'm like, I'm an adult. I don't want shingles. Like. And then he's got the cane, and I'm like, is that a sugar cane or?
I believe it's a relative. I don't think it's actually I don't think you could cut it, develop cane out of it. Like, don't put me on the spot with the genuses, man.
All right, well, excuse me. You're the plant guy, not me. I didn't claim to be it. That's like, oh, wait a minute, time out. I gotta tell the people something. So
Okay. All right.
last time we were on, young Nick had been telling us about his Rubik's Cube experiment. All I'm saying, folks, ask him in person when you see him.
Right. Yep.
Ask him in person. So you'll
I
be
think
amazed.
He's still working on that cube.
Spoiler alerts. All right, so we'd like to know then, we know you're the plant guy. But tell us, like, what other hobbies do you have? What do you do for fun? Like, what's the ideal Saturday look like?
I guess it depends on what the weather's like.
Well, it's ideal, so you get to pick.
Well, yeah, but like sometimes an ideal Saturday is sitting at home and watching like a million movies. Sometimes it's going out in the woods,
Not
and
realistic.
disappearing.
A million movies?
Yeah,
Not even Jeff's watched a million yet.
that is true. You'll I have a tendency to hyperbolize, I suppose.
Okay. Well,
Um,
the people take this
Right.
show serious.
That's right. So to be honest, sit down and watch a couple of movies. Okay, that could be a thing. Or disappear into the woods, go hiking with my dog Artemis, play some fetch, play some music. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, whatever strikes my fancy that particular day.
All right. So wait, you said a dog, Artemis?
Yes.
What kind of dog do you got?
Artemis is 4 years old. She is a blackmouth cur and ridgeback mix. Blackmouth cur is like when you think of like Old Yeller, like light short-haired dog with a dark face. She's cute.
When I think of Old Yeller, I think about the
yeah,
ending.
that's probably not the thing that.
I'm like,
I don't want the story to end that way. Jesus.
kids show.
Right. Viewers just dropped.
Yeah, this is a kids show, man.
Oh no, I got the negative. I got all this cry face likes.
Think of a different dog. What would it look like? Not Old Yeller.
Where the red fern grows. I'm not doing much better.
Never know. No, you're right. Anyway,
Next question.
yes. So wait.
Artemis is awesome. She's 4.
So Artemis, it's a Greek goddess, is it not?
She is the goddess of the hunt. Very good. Very, very solid throwback to your Greek mythology there, Steve.
I have a research team. They're really good.
All right. Okay. So, one of my favorite questions. If you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, man. I mean, Nick gave the flight answer last week, and that's real easy because I would love to just transport myself from Scranton to Wilkes-Barre.
Right.
I think time travel. But see, I would probably have the lamest time travel powers because it would be the kind of time travel where you could only go back and like relive the same portion. Like, you know, it'd be like you go back and well, you know, like the Seinfeld episode with thinking of the singer after the meeting, like the jerk store, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So give us an example. Like, what would you? So if you had the ability right now to time travel back, where would you go? And what would you
I
do?
would go back to about 30 minutes ago when you guys told me that I was going to be on this podcast.
Boom.
But I'd still have to be here. So
Okay.
I don't want to mess with the timeline too much. Like, come on,
Well,
you like great power, great responsibility.
So I always think about that because, you know, I've asked a lot of people this question. It's probably how it made the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and people have said that, and I always think to myself, like, I like my life. So if I could time travel backwards, would I just be running around to screw everything up again so that I could end up where I am? Because, you know, I mean, I could be like, well, hey, you know, I could be like Biff in Back to the Future, right? And bet on the sports games.
Yep.
But the first time I did it, maybe sports betting would never become a thing. Or if I hit the lottery too many times, maybe the lottery wouldn't become a thing. Or if I invested in Google at 10 cents, maybe I put too much in and, you know, Larry Page and Sergey Brin are like, well, you know, we don't really need more than $1 million, and it never becomes. So
Right.
then I just end up ruining the world. So with great power comes great responsibility.
I will tell you that one of the things that I do look back on and say, man, that was a stupid decision, was when Bitcoin came out and I said, this isn't going anywhere. Like, why am I going to use any of my computing resources? Like, because, you know, I'm a big nerd. So, of course, I always had powerful computers and stuff like that. You know, I'd be a very rich man and probably not talking to you guys right now if I had
Little does
started
he know
mining
how
coin.
cool we are.
Right.
You mean you wouldn't talk to us?
I'd be hiring you.
You're right.
But back to your point, now don't forget, time travel, you could go forward too. So you don't have to just go
Well, not
back.
with his, though.
Oh,
He
not
said
with
it could-
his time
right,
travel,
like,
yeah.
But-
I want to
but
respect
yes.
the continuum of time. I mean, come on.
Gotcha.
Like, let's not get crazy here.
Or does
Gotcha.
it create alternate universes like Rick and Morty?
Also true.
I'll tell you, one of the things I don't like in movies is time travel. You can explain everything. You know what I mean? There's always an out. But this show's not about me.
That's your other podcast.
Right.
All right, so one of the questions I like to ask, because I always feel like it's another one of those that digs into like what you'd like to be or what you'd aspire to be, or, you know, just, well, we'll get to me one day. But so what's a skill that you wish you had that you don't, or you're not necessarily good at?
Well, like I said, having been involved in the digital marketing industry for so long, the one part that I've just never nailed is design. I'm not a designer. I wish that I can look at something and say, oh, you know, yeah, that site looks great. Like, or that you really nailed that logo, like that kind of thing. But like looking at a blank page and just having that mind to like put something down and or you know, create a layout or a graphic, like it's just never been my forte. And so I do wish that was something that I had.
Right on. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not artistic.
Yeah, me neither. All right. So this is what you normally like to call Tucker's favorites.
Well, it's not Tucker's favorites.
It's not?
Well, I don't normally call it that. I've never said that in my life until just
That's
now.
what you always say.
No, I don't.
What do you
Last
say?
week Nick was on. I called it Nick's favorites.
That's right.
I've never interviewed
Insert
someone else
name
and said,
favorites,
Right.
okay?
"Hey, Nick, this is the section I like to call Tucker's favorites." Like,
That would be pretty awesome, though.
I've
I'd
thought
like
I've
to see
gotten
that.
pretty
Maybe
good
going
at this.
forward.
I thought I've gotten well, not pretty good at this. That's an exaggeration, but like, this is at least a C- performance that I can give week to week.
Right. Passing, but not.
Not doing well.
Right. All right. So we're going to ask you some of your favorites. So
Yeah,
like
Nick's
favorites.
So if Nick's,
Nick's-
I will
Nick's-
recite Nick's favorites. Yes.
All right. What was Nick's favorite band? No, what's your favorite band?
Oh God, I hate these kind of lists because it's always like I don't have favorites because it's just very much like, oh, what am I in the mood for right now? But As for bands, I would probably say Nine Inch Nails, as a matter of fact. I've seen them more than any other band that I've seen, and everything that Trent puts out is just like, I'm on it. So.
Now, was he the one that put together the recording studio in the old Manson house?
Yes, in fact, he did record at the old Manson house back in
Or was it the Tate house?
The Tate house where the Manson family... Yeah.
Okay. Good insight.
I still want to fact check that Titanic thing. I don't think I forgot about that.
Oh, okay.
Because I won't let anybody forget if it's right. It's probably wrong, but...
If any of my friends are watching, we're not going to discuss Titanic, I promise.
All right. How about your favorite movie?
Also something that I'm going to just like, I'm going to duck on that one and just say, I've always been a huge Star Wars nerd. Like it's
which one are you going to say them all, or do you have a particular?
Like just to cite Kevin Smith, like Empire,
all right.
It ends on such a down ending. It's great. Like I think it's a really, really serious like overall storytelling moment for a saga that is like a fantasy and a space opera, so to speak.
Okay, all right. How about book? Favorite book?
I'll do a deep dive on this one because you did. I've seen these before, and I knew this question was coming up, and I had to think. And if I wanted to think back, I would say one of the most influential books that I've read is called Microserfs by Douglas Coupland. It came out in the early mid 90s, and it was sort of just like this a portrayal of what it was like working at Microsoft and tech startups in that era. And so, I mean, I would have been like 13 years old or so, like reading this book. And it was just the coolest thing I could ever think of. Like, as even though people go through these ups and downs within like the tech environment, just reading about like, there are other nerds out there, and they can also be cool, like, and do cool stuff. And it's just like, it's a very interesting, it was very influential on my upbringing and just the way that I was like, that's why I want to be a professional nerd.
All right, so going back to the nerdy thing, because I want to talk a little bit then about the Star Wars, right? Because
here we go.
No, I mean I'm a geek too, so I wanted to get your take on. Do you like? Okay, so I'm assuming the original trilogy is your favorite.
Bar none.
Okay. How do you feel about the first, rehash episodes 1, 2, and 3?
So the prequels.
Prequels. Yeah.
Excuse me. I forgot him with the movie buffs.
I know, right?
This guy watches a million movies, and this guy reviews
here. Let's
them.
start the other podcast.
Yeah.
I've learned to appreciate them more as I have aged.
And what about the sequel series, right? Is that what you would call it?
Work, sure.
Thank you, guys. So,
I think that there's a lot. I'm just happy that people have taken up the mantle, and that we've got new material. Like, when I was a kid, all I ever wanted was more Star Wars,
right.
And like, so it was like I read books, like anything like you could throw at me, like I'm consuming that media. So, I think that to like nitpick or be unsatisfied with a couple pieces of material and what is an enormous media property is just silly. Like, short answer, I enjoyed them.
So how do you feel about some of the newer stuff they're doing, like the Mandalorian and the craze of Baby Yoda, or Grogu, now that he has a name, right?
I'm a huge Mandalorian fan. In fact, this morning I brought a Mandalorian action figure as my first office action figure. So, Steve,
go ahead.
Steve's getting ready. Like,
I just mouthed.
When we get up,
whoa.
When we get off of this call, like I'm gonna never hear the end of it from Steve.
I'm just wondering, it's his first action figure. Well, how many were you planning on?
Wait till I start bringing in the pops, man. Come on. I'm feeling those Nick vibes. Next thing I know, I'm gonna be doing a Rubik's Cube upstairs.
What's a pop?
A Funko Pop. The little vinyl figures. You can't tell me you don't know what a pop
you know what they
is.
are, but I don't own any, but I've seen them.
Steve, you're younger than me, man. Come on.
Okay, boomer.
Right. So here's the thing. I think that happened. Remember how, and we're gonna get back to it. The show and tell days where people would bring in different. He really brought in like toys for his show and tell for us. So that's exciting.
We'll attach. I'll attach a photo in the comments.
I thought the photo we'd use is him in his underwear.
Please no, nobody wants to see that.
Right. I mean, I thought
Not even
that's
the
where he
people
was
in
going to
the
go.
theater that day.
Favorite movie, Captain Underpants. So, but all right. So, I mean, that's cool because I've enjoyed a lot of the rehashes as well. I think that you can't go wrong, and even though I'm an adult and don't have children, like I'm like, man, I still need to get to Disney World and see what they've done at I guess it's Hollywood Studios now when they've opened up Star Wars Land. Because
I would immediately turn 10 years old again if I was standing underneath a full-sized Millennium Falcon.
No, it's even cooler now because now we have adult money.
Right.
Right. Yep. All right.
All right, man. Well, I mean, Jeff's dropped the ball on this one a lot lately. Well, I'm only kidding. It was me. But I don't ever let the truth come in the way of a good story. But what we'd like to do, Tucker, is I'm going to allow you to introduce to the people the next guest. So the spotlight's on you.
Oh, man.
Who do you want to take, as Regis would call it, the hot seat?
I don't know, Steve. You're looking pretty hot today.
Wow. You're up, Steve.
Curveball.
You thought you'd be picked last for kickball. Here you are.
I got a bum knee, man.
You're in.
All right, man.
Okay, Coach. All right. So
People, for episode 50.
Wow.
You're right. It was going to be special.
So.
How are you going to interview yourself?
Dude, you think I don't talk on this enough? I mean, big budget show. I mean, I'll sit on this side, answer the questions, jump over to that side and ask them.
All right, we'll get the green screen in here. It'll be awesome.
Before we go, real quick, is there anything that you've learned? This show is normally about digital marketing, tips and tricks, and industry know-how. Is there anything that you learned from being here at LSEO that you want to share with the people?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that we like to focus on with marketing is you can never stop changing your strategy. We've been around and lots of our folks have been involved in this industry for a very long time. And I can't ever say that one thing, one tip, one trick has stayed evergreen other than always look at your data, trust the people who know the industry, and don't be afraid to pivot. You might have a good month, you might have a bad month. I mean, we see this all the time, and that's why we're here. That's why we adapt. And that's why I can walk around the corner and talk to some of our paid media team and say, hey, these ads aren't performing the way that we want to see them. What can we do? Hey, we need to get a client that's SEO has started to fall off. What can we do? The answer is always the question, what can we do? And the answer is always more.
Good. All right. There you go.
Philosophical.
Right. Any additional questions for our guest here?
I don't have anything else because, as I've hinted to and alluded to before, the people seem to enjoy this segment, so we're probably going to have to come back for round 2. Although I don't think anything's going to beat Nick on a unicycle juggling, playing a Rubik's Cube. But
true.
Tucker in his underwear might get more views.
We're not doing that.
Right.
We might be doing that.
This is a family-friendly podcast.
Well, we can blur it out.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. Hopefully you got to learn a little bit about Tucker, our client service manager. If you're already a client of ours, you probably know a little bit about Tucker. Now you know a little bit more. I apologize for that. But continue to tune in each and every week to Beyond Local. Steve Blackburn will be our interviewee the next time you tune in. So make sure you set a reminder, and we'll see you next time.